Hi guys, I'm Kath and I'm so excited for today's video. I'm going to be doing 3 looks using the Ami Hearts Beauty and Amy Loves Makeup ALMA palette collab. Just look at this. Is this not the most Kath palette you have seen all year? Whenever I wear colorful eyeshadow, it's pretty much purple. Like, I love purple eyeshadow. I have hazel eyes, makes my eyes look super green. So when she announced this collab and I saw all the purple tones that were in here, I have to buy this. There's just no question. So this palette is from Ami Hearts Beauty, which is an indie makeup company. Amy Loves Makeup is all about her indie makeup. If you don't watch her channel, you totally should. I love her videos. She's just so sweet and she does these amazing, beautiful, colorful eyeshadow looks. And I was so happy for her when she announced that she was doing a collaboration. I was like, I cannot think of a person who deserves a collaboration more than her. I was so happy for her. So this palette retails for $42.50, but you can also use the code Amy Loves for 10% off. She has a code with them. Hi Charlotte. So I ended up paying $38.50 for the palette and $8.75 for shipping, I think it was. I don't know if their shipping is flat rate or if it depends on where you're located. So I ended up paying like $47 in total for the palette, and there's 15 shades. This is what it looks like. Super gorgeous. So I'll be doing 3 looks with this palette, and then at the end I will share a little bit of my thoughts on the palette as well. If you're curious how I feel about the performance and the color selection and everything like that, stay tuned till the very end. If you're new here, I'd love to have you subscribe. I have some very fun videos coming at the end of December and I'd love to have you around for them. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm starting out with my BH Cosmetics number 11 giant fluffy brush and going into the shade Dreamweaver, that really pretty soft lilac shade, and I am just buffing that literally all over the lid. I'm going to be doing a sort of halo eye effect today, so putting this in the inner and outer corner and just making sure this is really nice and blended out. We want it to be soft and diffused. Since this is more of a pastel shade, it does work pretty well as a transition shade and does blend pretty softly into the rest of the lid. Then I'm taking a AOA Studio E126, going into Spirit. It's that sort of periwinkle shade, and this is still a sort of fluffy brush, but it's less fluffy than the BH11, and I'm really just swiping this into the inner and outer corner at first, and then just very gently pulling that across the crease. I don't want it to be too present in the crease, but I do want it to be there a little bit, but I am just mostly focusing on the inner and outer corners here. Then I'm taking a AOA E128 and I'm going into Taurus, that matte navy shade, and this is one that I'm just really packing into the inner and outer corner. And Taurus is just such a gorgeous shade. I'll talk about it later, but it's really pretty. You can see how it's performing on the eye. It's just really lovely. This brush is a more small rounded brush, but it does have a little bit of fluff, a little bit of give to it, so it's really good to pack those shades down in a more concentrated area, but it does let you kind of blend that at the top as well just a little bit as you're placing it down, which is really perfect for a halo eye, of course. And then I am just taking that AOA E126, and I don't have any new product on it, but I'm just kind of blending at the top, mostly blending up and just slightly pulling it over a little bit. I don't want the crease to be too dark in the center, but I do want it to all be blended and tied together. Then I am taking the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas and that little flat paddle brush from, totally blanking on the name, ALMA Cosmetics, and I am carving out a little cut crease in the center of my halo eye. I just really felt like doing a halo cut crease today. I don't do this often, and I really like how it turned out. Then I'm taking a Kylie concealer brush and going into the shade Lover, which is I don't even know how to describe this shade. It's so unique. It's like a metallic periwinkle almost, I guess. It's very blue glittery, but not like blue, like blue lavender. I'm so bad at describing colors sometimes, especially when they're just super unique like this. But I'm just packing that all over top of where we just put down that Makeup Revolution cut crease canvas, and it is gorgeous. And then I am taking that brush that I used Taurus with, and I'm just kind of blending back and forth at the edges. Then I'm taking that same Kylie brush and I'm going into these shade Hearts, which is just a true shimmer purple, and I'm kind of just placing that right at the edges of that shimmer shade just to add like a little bit more definition, and I really like how that turned out. Then I am just dipping my finger into Cloud 9, that like light blue duochrome shade, and I'm just popping that right onto the center of the lid just to add a little more dimension. I don't know if that really made a huge difference, but I just wanted to try it out. And I'm just blending the edges of that even more. Then for the under eye, I am taking that same AOA 128, going into Taurus, and then I do this a lot. I just pinch the brush and kind of run it along the under eye to sort of place down a smoky base. I'm taking a Sephora smudge brush into Taurus and running it along as well, just so it's a little bit darker there. And then once that is placed down to my liking, I'm taking a Morphe little smudge brush going into Dreamweaver, running that along the bottom as well. Then I am just taking a Real Techniques accent brush and going into Cloud 9 and using that as my inner eye highlight. And this is the final look, a very soft bluish purple halo eye. For look number 2, I am starting out with that same BH number 11 and using the shade Bloom, which is the one sort of true neutral shade in the palette, and buffing this very softly in the outer corners and into the crease. I placed down my little elf eye tapes today just so I can get a nice sharp edge with my shadow. Then I'm taking the fluffy end of that little brush that came with the Sigma and Beauty Bird palette and going into Inspiration. Inspiration is this like burgundy purpley shade, I would describe it as. It's very pretty warm toned purple, and I'm just doing the same thing, very gently buffing this into the outer corner and into the crease. This is pretty much like the main shade for this look, so I really take my time packing this down, blending it out, and just continuing until I get the desired effect that I want. And then I am taking the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Concealer and carving out a cut crease. Totally forgot to hold that up, sorry about that. But I just wanted a nice clean cut base to place down my shimmer shadows over top of. Then I'm taking the flat end of that Sigma and Beauty Bird brush and I'm going into the shade Kindness, which is like a true pinky shimmer, and I am packing that only on the center of the lid and along the top part of that cut crease that we carved out. I'm making sure that I leave the inner corner blank and unshadowed. Then I'm taking a Pixie EO3 brush, I don't think they make this brush anymore, going into Petal, that pinky duochrome shade, and I am placing that on the very inner part of that cut crease where we don't have any shadow yet. Then I take a BH Studio Pro number 8, going into Hearts, that very true purple shimmer, and I'm kind of just placing that on the edge of that cut crease and pulling it towards the purple, but I didn't love how that looked, so I just blended Kindness over top of that and Inspiration over top of that. And now I am just doing some eyeliner. I wanted a cute little winged eyeliner moment with this look, and I took the tapes off before doing that because I actually don't really like doing my eyeliner with tapes like that. But I really like how the eyeliner helps pull the entire look together. And for the under eye, I took a little liner brush and went into Inspiration, ran that all the way along the under eye, and then I took a little Luxie tapered blending brush, went into Bloom, and just blended that along the lower eye as well. And this is the final look of look number 2. For look number 3, I am starting out with the BH11, again, surprise, surprise, into Bloom, and I'm just placing on a very light wash of color. Then I'm taking the BH Studio Pro 17, going into Blessed, and I'm really just like swirling this outwards from the outer corner. And Charlotte decided that her tail needed to be a part of the video. I do this a lot. I just like it, just big swirly motions of one color all the way from the outer corner, and it never really passes the center of the eye. Just like it to be very, very blown out, pretty blended only on the outer half of the eye. Then I'm taking this little Wet n Wild crease brush, going into Spirit first, and that didn't really do much. So then I went into Taurus and just doing those same motions, very light, swirling it outwards from the outer corner, making sure everything is just very blown out and very blended together. Then I'm taking a flat concealer brush and I'm going into the shade Wish, and this is this really pretty icy blue, and I am just packing this all over the eye, and I'm just kind of trying to softly blend it at the top so it fits into that soft blended look, and it's pretty easy to get that diffused look at the edge since it is a lighter shade. I think I did wet the brush to put this one down, and it did help it stick down and pop a little bit as well, but I just think this shade is so pretty and icy and fitting of the fact that Frozen 2 came out. That's so lame. And then I'm just taking a little bit more of Taurus and blending that in the outer corner as well, so it's nice and defined but still really blended as well. And for the under eye, back into Taurus with that Wet n Wild brush, doing a little pinchy thingy and running that along the lower eye. So it's just such a good like lazy person hack. Then I'm taking that Pixie EO3 brush and I'm going into the shade Cloud 9, and I am putting that on the inner corner for my inner corner highlight. And this is the final look of look number 3. Alrighty, those are my 3 looks with the ALMA palette. I hope that you enjoyed them. Maybe they struck some inspiration for you. Now let's actually talk about the palette and my thoughts on the palette. First of all, can we just like talk about and appreciate like the art on the cover and how the art on the cover of the palette actually coordinates with the colors inside. Like I can't tell you how many times a company has launched a palette and it has this beautiful art on the cover, and I'm like, oh my god, the colors inside must be so pretty, and then they have like 2 colors from the cover on the inside and the rest of it is a neutral palette. So I really appreciate like how tied together everything feels in this palette. I feel like the color scheme is so well thought out and the packaging really is gorgeous. Like I'm obsessed with these flowers. I think they're so pretty, and the packaging feels like high quality. Like it's a cardboard palette packaging, but it's not like you know how some cardboard packaging is like high-end and some cardboard packaging is not high-end. Like this feels like high-end cardboard packaging. Like I think it's like Huda Beauty that uses like cardboard as well too or something. I don't buy a lot of high-end palettes, so I'm not really good at comparing. And it like comes with a mirror and everything, which is really nice. So like the actual like experience of using the palette is nice. I don't typically spend this much on an eyeshadow palette, so I really like appreciate like how like it's just like nice to use, you know what I mean? I feel like so with formulas, I feel like when you have really colorful eyeshadow, I guess like eyeshadows in general, this really isn't like exclusive to colorful eyeshadows, there's usually either like super firm pressed eyeshadows where you have to like really dig your brush into them and like really work to build up the color, but it is very buildable and very blendable. So like for example, the NYX Ultimate Brights palette, that would be like an example of a really firm pressed colorful eyeshadow formula. Or you have like a more loose powdery formula that does build really well, does blend really well as well, and like it's a little bit easier to get pigment out of those colors. And this is like definitely a very soft formula. I feel like all the colors in here are extremely soft. Like if you own any of the ColourPop 9-pan palettes, I would say that these are even softer than the mattes in those, and I feel like ColourPop typically has like a pretty soft formula. I definitely recommend with the mattes specifically, I would use like a tackier eyeshadow base. Like I know I sometimes like to set down my eyeshadow primer because it helps blend a little bit better, and that's what I did when I did the purple look where I used inspiration all over the crease and stuff, and that definitely did help with blending. Like it made blending super easy. It just makes it a little harder to like build up the actual pigment, and because these are so soft, like you could blend it away theoretically, but I think that like overall they worked really beautifully. I feel like colorful eyeshadows always seem like they're really like the hardest to formulate and hardest to get like good quality color and like blend out of them, and I feel like I really like all 3 looks that I made with this palette. So if I can make 3 looks, and I used every single matte in this palette at some point. I didn't really use Spirit as much as the others, but I used them all at some point. So if I can make 3 looks and like how all of them look, that is like, that speaks to a good quality palette for me. Everyone has their formula preferences. If you don't like a powdery and soft formula, you wouldn't like this, and there is a lot of kickback in the pan because of that. Like I have fully made a mess of the palette because I'm not good at going in gently, and I like would recommend topping off the brush. I would recommend doing your eyes first, which I do anyways. Those are all things to keep in mind. Everyone has their formula preferences, and I like different formulas for different reasons, and I really like how this worked on my eyes. I think Taurus is such a special shade. I've never, like, I don't own a ton of blue eyeshadows, which I'll talk about that in a second as well, but like I think this is such a beautiful shade. Like it's such a deep pigmented navy blue, and it's so workable. It blended so well both times that I use it, and I just think like, I feel like navy blue is like one of those shades that's just like coveted to find the perfect one, and this is so fully the perfect navy blue shade in my opinion. I think the only shade that like I own color wise that's even close to this is that like deep blue that is in the ColourPop and Kathleen Lights palette, and quality wise it's nowhere near this. So I really think this shade is just super special. Like I wouldn't say buy the palette just because of the navy blue if you have been looking for a really good navy blue and none of the other colors appeal to you, but I feel like that is like a really good incentive. Like I definitely don't have anything in my collection that compares to this specific color. Like it's really special. Like I don't know how I could emphasize that enough. And the shimmers are also fantastic. I'm insanely picky about my shimmers. I really like a very soft shimmer, a very textured shimmer. A couple of these have glitter bases to them, which I really like. I think it's these 3 are the ones that are the most glittery. I did wet the brush for some of them, which helps them stick down because they're so soft. I would definitely recommend wetting the brush or using a finger. But I think like when I applied them dry first off, like they still looked really pretty. I really like appreciate having like a shimmer that just makes the look pop. Like I mean, like look how just like reflective and pretty that is. And I also really like that they have like these 2 especially have like a duochrome quality to them, and then obviously these 3 are all duochrome shades, and I really like that just because it's like something that makes them special and unique, and also because Amy really likes her duochrome shades, so it just definitely helps make the palette really like feel like her palette, and like it really has her personal touch into it because of the duochrome shades. It's definitely just like overall a very unique color scheme. Like I really don't think like, I have a lot of purple eyeshadow palettes, but nothing that's really like quite like this. And it's basically like, I would say this is a blue and purple palette, but more purple leaning than blue. I'm someone who, like, to be perfectly honest, I don't ever like blue eyeshadow on myself. I feel like every time I try to do blue eyeshadow, I look like Tim Curry in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like I don't know what it is, but I always hate how blue eyeshadow looks on me. And I did 2 blue eye looks, or like the first one I guess is like blue leaning, and this is just like pure blue, and I absolutely love how both of them looked, and that's so rare for me. And like I wasn't even like, I didn't really think to be on the fence about getting a palette with so many blue shadows in it, just because they are more of a purple leaning blue. Like these 2 are blue, but this is like a periwinkle, and this is like a cornflower blue, and both of those like have just like a little bit of purple to them, which I feel like is what makes them really special. And then this is just like I already said, it's like the most special shade in here. I think like this is the like probably the shade that I would use least in the palette, and like I haven't even tried it yet, so maybe I'd try it and it would like shock me like the rest of the palette's blues did as well. Like I just like this eye look. I love this eye look, and it's like so soft and blended, and it's like it looks like it's a very Catholic, and I never wear blue eyeshadow. Like it's definitely like out of all the colorful eyeshadow colors, it's definitely my least used one, but I love how both of the blue based looks I did turned out with this. And I really think this is a very unique palette, and I really just think like you can tell that it was super well thought out, and I think that's like what's special about doing a collaboration with like a smaller YouTuber and an indie makeup brand, is that like that you can just like tell the love that they put into it and the thought that they put into it. This is out of stock at the moment, but I believe they're bringing it back in the new year. So if you have any other questions about it, like you can definitely ask me and I'll be happy to answer them if I have a good answer for you. But overall, like I'm excited about this palette. I think it is just like, it's special, it's really unique, and it's also just like it's really awesome to see Amy do a collaboration like this. Just like, she's someone who I've watched for a while. I feel like her whole story is really incredible. She just seems like a really sweet, down-to-earth person, and you can tell she just has this like pure love of makeup, and I like couldn't like think of someone who would like be more excited to have a collaboration like this and like put her heart and her soul and like all her love into this palette more than her. I'm so happy for her. Like the second that I saw she had a collaboration, I was so happy for her, and I was even more happy when I saw the actual palette, and I was like, oh my god, like these, like I love purple eyeshadow, these are colors that I love. It's like I can wholeheartedly like buy this and support you, and I want to support you, and I'm also getting something that I really am probably going to love out of it. So I just think it's really great. I hope that this was helpful for you if you've been eyeing this on the fence about it, or if you have it and you were looking for some inspiration with it. I definitely think it's great, and like just I can't say congratulations to Amy enough. Like I really think this is incredible, and you really deserve this. So awesome. If you like purple eyeshadows, you should definitely check out my go-to purple eyeshadow tutorial using the Juvia's Place Masquerade palette. It's a really nice, quick, and easy look. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!